Hi there. Hope you have a fantastic day today. This lesson I will go through 2023 HSC's paper. Of course, there is a PDF file versions on the description below for you to download so you can work with me. Otherwise, let's go straight into it. Question 29. The table is showing the monthly repayment for borrowing $1,000. So a couple borrows $520,000 with an interest rate of 8% per annum over 25 years. So we need to work out the total repayment for this loan. So first of all, for 25 years is in this column here, and for interest rate of 8%. So there you go. So the monthly repayment is this amount. Let me just clear this. So therefore, the monthly repayment is $7.72. So let me just write this down. For $1,000, that's the couple borrow. So we have to pay a monthly repayment of $7.72. So keep that in mind. But now the couple actually borrow $520,000. So that will be from here to here, we times this by 520. So if we times this by 520, so this also need to times by 520. So please keep that in mind. So now I just put on a calculator. So I just go 7.72 we times 520. So there you go, $4,014.40. So $4,014.40. And that is the monthly repayment. But then to work out the total amount that the couple need to repay or pay back. So what we do, we just times this by 12. That will give us 1 year. So just write this first. $4,014.40. We times this by 12 because in a year they pay 12 times. And for 25 years, we just times by 25. So just go answer times 12. That's give me 1 year. And I times this by 25. So there you go. $1,204,320. So let me just write this down. So therefore, so there you go. That's how much the couple pay altogether. Part B. Chris borrowed some money at 7% per annum. Chris will repay the loan over 15 years. So N is 15. And with the monthly repayment of this much. So for 15 years and at 7%. So 15 years at 7%. So that is this amount, $9.99 per month. So let me just write this down. So every $1,000 that he borrow, so that will pay $8.99 per month. So now his monthly repayment is $3,596. So from here to here, we need to work out how many times. So I just put on a calculator. So I just go 3,596 and I divide it by 8.99. So there you go, 400 times. So we times by 400. So from here to here, we do exactly the same. So 400 times 1,000, that means 400,000. So therefore, he borrows $400,000. There you go. Question 30. A receipt from a supermarket shows a total of $124.87. GST at a rate of 10% is only charged on some items. What is the value of the item which did not have GST charge? So to work this out, so we know that $124.87 87 cents. That means some items have GST on it and some doesn't. Okay, so we need to work out the one that has no GST on it. That is the questions asked. So first of all, what we do, we work out the item with GST on it first. And then what we do, we just use $124.87. We minus the one with GST on it. That will give us the item that's had no GST. Okay, let me just work that out for you. So step number one, let's work out the item with GST first. So if we pay 10% of GST, that means we paid $3.86. So to work out 100%, that means the item before GST. So that is 100%. So we know that from here to here, we times this by 10, because 10 times 10 is 100. So we do the same thing on this side. So we times 10. So that will give me, I move 1 unit to the right, because when you times 10, the number should get larger. Otherwise, just put on a calculator. Okay. So that will give me $38.60. 38.6 is exactly the same as $38.60. Okay, keep that in mind. Then that is 100% before GST, and we add that on top. So the item with GST will be like this. So $38, that is 100%. That means before GST, and we add GST on top. That means we add $3.86. That will give me, so just go 38.60, we add 3.86. So there you go, $42.46. So $42.46. Now to work out the item that has no GST on it, so we just use this total amount. So we just go 124.87, and then we minus $42.46. That will give me, so just go 124.87, which is minus the answer. So there you go, $82.41. $82.41. So therefore, the answer is $82.41. There you go. Question 31. So with this network diagram, we require to work out two critical parts for this. So to work it out, we need to work out the floating time for each activity first. So let me just work this out. So to do this, let me just draw earliest and latest starting time first, okay? So for A, so we start 0, of course. And for D, of course, we start with 0. And for H, we start with 0. Now to start on task I and J, we need to finish task H first. So that is, it needs 2 hours to finish this. So therefore, let me just draw this. So the earliest starting time for task I and J is 2 hours. And to start on E and F, so we need 4 hours before we can start on F and E. So let me just draw this out. So we need to complete D first, okay, before we can do task E and F. Now to start on B, so we need to complete A, that is 6 hours, complete E, so we go 2 plus 4 is 6. So the earliest can start on B is 6 hours later. So keep that in mind. And then for task K and G, so we need to finish F first and I first. So F and I. So to finish F, we need 6 hours because 2 plus 4 is 6. And then to finish I, 7 plus 2 is 9. So therefore, earliest starting time here. So therefore, we take 9. 9 is the earliest time we can start on either K or G, because we need to finish task I and F first. Okay, keep that in mind. So remember, we just take the largest number for forward scanning. For backward scanning, we take the smallest value. Okay, keep that in mind. So now, to start on task C, we need to finish task B first. So 4 plus 6 is 10. And 4 plus 9 is 13. So let me just draw here. So that is 13 is the earliest time I can start on C. So to complete the whole thing, so that means 13 plus 4 is 17. And then finish task K, that is 8 plus 9 is 17. And then 2 plus 12 for task J, which is 14. So therefore, the earliest time that can be finished with the whole thing is 17 hours. So now we can do backward scanning. So now is 17 here, always the same value of this. Okay, so keep that in mind. So now we're going backward. So to go backward, so 17 minus 4, so that will give me 13 here. Okay, so that's the only one option here. So it's 13. Keep that in mind. And then to start on K, so we go 17 minus 8, so that gives me 9. So it's 9 here. And then from 13, we minus 4, so that will give me 9 as well. Okay, keep that in mind. So therefore, the latest starting time is 9 here. Okay, keep that in mind. And for J, so we have 17, we minus 12, so that will give me 5. And then 9 minus 7, so that will give me 2. So therefore, the latest starting time is 2 here. And now we're just going backward. 2 minus 2 for task H is 0. And then we can work out activity B here. So we have 13 minus 4. So that gives me 9 here. So therefore, this is not a critical path. The floating time is 3 hours here. Okay. So we just focus on the critical path. That means 0 floating time. Now for F, so 9 minus 2 will give me 7. I write here first. And for E, so 9 minus 2 give me 7. So therefore, this is 7 here. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then 9 minus 6 for A give me 3. And for D, 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay, so keep that in mind. So now the critical path is the one that has 0 floating time. So we have 0 floating time here, and here, and here. Okay, so keep that in mind. And of course, H here, you can see, okay, it's always 0. Okay, so the critical path is this one here, this. Okay, so there you go. And also, this one as well, from here, 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 and here. So keep that in mind. Okay, so 2 critical paths. Let me just list it out. So that is H, I, G, C. And H, I, K. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this is the 2 critical path. Part B. So we need to reduce the critical path by 3 hours because we need to complete 14 hours because at the moment it takes 17 hours to complete. Now to reduce the hours, so we need to focus on the critical path. So now, if you think about it, we have this critical path here is common. So if we reduce the hours of this task, so therefore the number of hours to complete the task will be reduced. Okay, and then if we reduce this, it's also reduce the number of hours as well. So if you reduce activity K, we still have the same time to complete the task because we have critical path in here. Okay, so it doesn't affect the hours that complete the whole thing. Okay, so still 17 hours. So therefore, we need to reduce the hours either on task I or task H. And the question is, we can only reduce on one of the tasks, not 2. So we can reduce either I or H. But we have to reduce by 3 hours. So we can only have one option. So we can only reduce task I. So that is by 3 hours. Because task H only had 2 hours to complete. So therefore, we need to reduce task I. So by 3 hours. Okay, so let me just write this down. 3 hours. So therefore, There you go. So first of all, we know that the credit card charge 13.5% per annum compounded daily. So keep that in mind. And there is no interest-free period. So please take note on this. And also the amount of owing is $450. And the day that repay is 21 days later. So we need to work out how much interest is charged on 21 days. So we know that future value is P 1 plus R power of n, or I equal P bracket 1 plus R power of n if you like. So we know that the interest rate is 13.5% per year, but we need to calculate per day. So that means that we divide by 365. So I just go 13.5 we divide by 365 because 365 days in a year. We divide by 365. So there you go. So let me just store this number on memory first. Answer, shift, store in A because we're going to use this later. So I just write into 3 decimal place. So 0.037. Okay. So 0.037%. And then N is 21 days. P is equal to 450. So just write this down. So 450, 1 plus R, which is 0.037%. Percent means per 100. And power of 21. So now I just put on a calculator. So I just go 450 brackets 1 plus alpha I over 100. And then we close brackets, power of 21. So there you go. $453.51. So the answer is $453.51. So that is the amount that he has to pay altogether. But the question is, we need to work out the interest, okay, charged. So now we just go interest is equal to 453.51 with minus 450. That will give me, so I just go answer minus 450. So that is $3.51. So there you go. That is the interest. Part B. What percentage of full amount repaid is the interest? So we need to work out in terms of percentage with the full amount. So the full amount is this amount here. Okay, keep that in mind. So the full amount repaid. So now we just go 3.51 we divide by the amount repaid. So the amount repaid is 453.51 and we times by 100 and percent, of course. That will give me, so I just go 3.51 we divide by 453.51. So there you go, and we times by 100. So 0.77% because we need to round up to 2 decimal place. So that is 0.77%. So there you go, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.